morning. Welcome to Friday in this week of the first week after the Epiphany. It's truly a joy to have been able to share these past few days with you. And I trust that the time we have spent together during the course of this past week has been of some benefit to you. Indeed, I have truly enjoyed sharing these moments with you, and I trust that you too have in some way benefited from being here. As you come into this weekend, being able to take a break from our several duties and to be able to relax a little bit and prepare ourselves too for acts of worship on Sunday as we go into another week in the season of Light Epiphany, a season where we are reminded of God's words to us, "This is my beloved," a time when we are desirous of seeking to have those words said on our behalf as we seek to align ourselves with the will of God. So I invite us now to come into a place of quiet and prayer as we seek to be at one with the divine in these moments of peace. Coming into a place of quiet within us. Coming into our hearts with a spirit of gratitude. We become conscious of our breath as we breathe in that awareness God's presence. As we welcome the new day, listen to that stillness before the busyness of our day starts. Listening to that stillness around us and experiencing that stillness within us. We recall that in the beginning there was nothing. And so we seek to be familiar with that nothingness as a way of reconnecting ourselves with that which is. In that stillness, we possess only existence, nothing else. In each moment, each present moment, all that we really have is our existence. And so it's important for us to be at home, be at peace with that sense of just existing, without the trappings that we pull to ourselves. And the breath reminds us of this. As we take one breath in and release, all that there is just this moment, this existence. no fear, no anxiety, no remorse. Just this moment. A moment which is filled with nothing but love. And because there's nothing else, it's filled also with forgiveness, letting go. Because to be present to nothing but existence, we must let go of everything else. Because everything else will draw us into a space of anxiety, guilt, remorse, lack of forgiveness. But in this moment, in order to attain this moment, we must release it all and just be in this moment. Just for these few moments of our devotion, as we practice to be present, it will assist us in our day-to-day lives to be present in the midst of our anxieties, in the midst of the pressure of life, to just come back to this space, this sense of the present moment, where there's nothing but existence. Turning to Mark's Gospel, chapter 2, verse 13. Jesus went out again beside the sea. The whole crowd gathered around him and he taught them. As he was walking along, he saw Levi, son of Alphaeus, sitting at the tax booth, and he said to him, "Follow me." And he got up and followed him. And as he sat at dinner in Levi's house, many tax collectors and sinners were also sitting with Jesus and his disciples, for there were many who followed him. When the scribes and Pharisees saw that he was eating with sinners and tax collectors, they said to his disciples, "Why does he eat with tax collectors and sinners?" When Jesus heard this, he said to them, "Those who are well have no need of a physician, but those who are sick. I have come to call not the righteous, but sinners." But John's disciples and the Pharisees were fasting. And people came and said to him, "Why do John's disciples and the disciples of the Pharisees fast, but your disciples do not fast?" Jesus said to them, "The wedding guests cannot fast while the bridegroom is with them, can they? As long as they have the bridegroom with them, they cannot fast. The days will come when the bridegroom is taken away from them, and then they will fast on that day. No one sews a piece of unshrunk cloth on an old cloak. Otherwise, the patch pulls away from it, the new from the old, and a worse tear is made. No one puts new wine into old wineskins. Otherwise, the wine will burst the skins, and the wine is lost, and so are the skins. But one puts new wine into fresh wineskins." Here ends the reading.
Let it be, dear Lord, let it be.
I am weak, but thou art strong. Jesus, keep me from all wrong. I'll be satisfied as long as I walk. Let me walk close to thee. Just a closer walk with thee. Granted, Jesus is my plea. Daily walking close to thee. Let it be, dear Lord, let it be. When my feeble life is o'er and times for me will be no more, no more. Guide me gently, safely o'er to thy kingdom's shore, to thy shore. Just a closer walk with thee. Granted, Jesus is my plea. Daily walking close to thee. Let it be, dear Lord, let it be.
What a beautiful song. One of those really old songs that no matter how you hear them, they speak a deep truth to us. The prayer for a closer walk with God. In this morning's reading, the call of Matthew, Jesus at dinner in Matthew Levi's house, other tax collectors around, other persons considered to be sinners around, just wanting to be close to Jesus. The scribes of the Pharisees making the point that John's disciples fast, but Jesus' disciples don't fast. in a sense, Mark uses this dialogue to bring out even more that sense of what it means to be close to Jesus. Jesus says when the bridegroom is around, nobody fasts because of the bridegroom's presence. In other words, what's important really is that close walk, that sense of being connected to and treasuring what it means to be connected to Jesus, desiring a closer engagement. And this is of importance to us on this pilgrim road. The idea of walking with Jesus, being mindful of the kind of walk that Jesus walked, a walk in which Jesus sought to, at all times, live his truth, live his reality, live as he understood his Father's purpose for him. And this is where we all must try to be. So much destruction has been caused in our world because we've either sought to force others to live our truth, or we ourselves have tried to live the truth of others. We have seen in recent times in our communities the ways in which persons are seeking to become more of themselves. We see it in our women as they seek to wear them hair naturally. We see it in a sense sometimes since COVID. We've seen how men who in the past were always well shaved have decided to allow their beards to grow. Something that occurred in COVID, and now they have this sense of a new identity. This is what they feel to do. All these are outward reminders of inner reality. The inner reality of being oneself, of desiring to follow one's journey and not the journey of another. We are having challenges dealing with our youth. And the reason we're having challenges with our youth, I believe, is because they have not been reared in a thou shalt or thou shalt not environment. They have been reared in an environment of choice, an environment where they have been asked to be who they are. Unfortunately, we only seem to have gotten part of that correct. We have gotten the part of allowing or stepping back and letting the youth be themselves. But we forget. We've forgotten that in order for them to be themselves, there must be some tools that we assist them in developing. And that's where we might have fallen down. We've gotten part of the message. Let them be themselves. But the fact is that we who have received this new message, we ourselves have not fully known how to be ourselves. We have only known how to be what others have told us to be. And so when we attempt to allow the children to be themselves, we didn't help them to develop the skills to achieve this, because we ourselves have not achieved this, or have only partially achieved this. And so there's a sense in which this whole circumstance that we face, in some ways, not always, in some ways extremely challenging. There are many, many, many youth who are growing well. And in some ways, some of them have used our model of the thou shalt and the thou shalt not. And they've only used the idea of choice in ways that are not very important to their own journey. The challenge for us as elders is to find ourselves and allow our children to witness how we have found ourselves. The path of personal discernment. Jesus found himself, and Jesus was seeking to help others find themselves. And those who drew near to him, even though they might have been labeled by the world as tax collectors and sinners, they were no longer holding that label in their minds, because Jesus was assisting them in discerning and discovering that that was the label of others. It wasn't who they were. Jesus, by his presence, and I mean presence in the full sense of the term, fully embodying one's own existence, not letting oneself be led by others. And so you hear the wisdom that comes out of the mouth of Jesus constantly, because he wasn't allowing the opinions of others to dictate how he perceived the world. He was fully grounded in himself, and when one is grounded in oneself, one has the wisdom of God, the wisdom of the divine. So he says, wedding guests don't feast, don't fast when the bridegroom is present. He says, you don't take a new piece of material and apply it to an old garment that is torn. You don't put new wine into old wine skins, but you put new wine into new wine skins. And therein is our challenge, because we've got this new set of persons in our world, and we keep trying to put them into old wineskins, and the wineskins are bursting. The societies are falling apart. But we've got to put that new wine into new wineskins. We've got to assist our youth in creating containers for themselves, containers that meet their requirements, containers that represent their world, their cosmology, in order that they may be whole, that they may not be spilt or lose themselves. Therein is the invitation. Assist the youth by assisting them in creating their own containers for their existence. But part of that requires that we understand the importance of creating a container for our own existence. That we become ourselves truly and earnestly And that in becoming ourselves, we give ourselves permission to be ourselves. And in so doing, we will assist our young people in becoming themselves as well. And therefore, save this existence of theirs and ours, that we can live together and grow closer to God.
Living below in this old sinful world, hardly a comfort can afford. Striving along to face temptation so. Oh, won't you tell me where could I go but to the Lord? Where could I go? Oh, where could I go? Seeking a refuge for my soul, needing a friend to save me in the end. Won't you tell me where could I go but to the Lord? Life here is grand with friends I love so dear. Comfort I get from God's own word. Yet when I face that chilling hand of death, oh, won't you tell me where could I go but to the Lord? Where could I go? Oh, where could I go? Seeking a refuge for my soul, needing a friend to save me in the end. Won't you tell me where could I go but to the Lord?